life in Adelaide's good. Sunny Adelaide now. We had a bit of a winter taste last week, but we're back to sunshine. So, no, it's been great. It's been great to get back with my family, and obviously had to cross the borders as soon as the lockdown was on. So a bit of a shock to come back, but it's been really nice reconnecting, and work's pretty tough, but yeah, it's hard for everyone. And how about yourself?
Yeah, no, it's lockdown. That's one of our first questions. Is how's lockdown going? The weather's kind of turned a bit in Tauranga at the moment. It's a bit stormy, but we have been really lucky for the last 5 weeks. We've had like an Indian summer. It's been so warm. But life, homeschooling 3 children just makes me really appreciate how hard our teachers work in New Zealand. And yeah, it's been really good actually. The only thing that's been taking a hammering is the pantry, because the kids are always hungry. But being in lockdown, it's just about adapting and just getting used to a new set of rules that we have to live by.
Have you rolled out any of the old favourite recipes, Debs? You've got some signature dishes that you've pulled out?
No, in my flatting days, I used to be known for my curried sausages, but we get those meals delivered, so all the decisions on what's for dinner is made by somebody else, which I'm quite happy about.
Perfect. The Mexicans getting a bit of a hammering here. I think the boys like nachos, burritos, tacos, everything with an O in it. So yes, expanding the repertoire there.
So how did Mystics 2016 happen for both of us?
Very fond memories, Debs. If I recall it correctly, I reached out to you. I had a player after I'd stepped down who wasn't selected for Thunderbirds, and thought she'd be a fantastic fit in under your care and over in the Mystics environment. So I dropped you an email and said, look, this kid I really rate. She needs a good home. Have you got any vacancies? And I think that got the ball rolling, and the importance of reaching out as coaches, I think is now starting to hit with COVID. But it was that moment then that got us talking about, well, look, I don't think I've got a spot defensively, but what are you doing next year? And then it kind of went from there.
Yeah, Jenny May was my assistant at the time, and she was pregnant with twins, and I knew that having somebody like you to work with, especially because we were still competing with Australian teams, you can't beat the Aussie intel in your coaching ranks, and having really experienced coaches that are prepared to challenge and you're learning all the time as a coach. So it was just an awesome year, 2016, to have your input, Jane. So thanks for that and collecting those air points for us at Mystics. I know that the girls loved the language that you brought and your insight into the game. It was an awesome year, actually. The next question, Jane, is what are the pros and cons of being a head coach versus an assistant coach role, because we've both been head coaches and assistant coaches. So what do you think about that?
I think it's nice to go back to being an assistant after being a head coach, Debs. Obviously, we both started in that assistant role, as most people do, to cut your teeth and learn from some great mentors, which we both had. I guess, that role of assistant coach, you can just coach, and it's fun, and you can be part of the team, and you can really hone your technical, tactical delivery. Being a head coach, I can understand in the EPL why they call their coaches managers, because you are managing people, you're managing environments, you're reporting to the board, you're doing all the media stuff. It's quite a big role, and the percentage of coaching that you do is nowhere near as big. Having said that, in the years that success comes, it's worth every cent. You sort of sit back and you have this really deep satisfaction that you've been involved in every facet of that team and being able to get them over the line. And it's fantastic being in charge. And you know, having good people around you is really important. And having said that, you know, to go back and work with Knowles as an assistant, to come over and work with you as an assistant, and to do, you know, a brief stint with Diamonds and Fast Five as assistant, I've absolutely loved that as well. So 2 completely separate roles, good cop and bad cop, I think. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree. Good cop and bad cop. I completely agree with you about the assistant coach role. You actually coach more. There's so many things in a head coach role that take your energy and focus away from the actual on the floor, in the heat of the moment. Because the best thing about coaching is for me is the training, is the actual heat of learning. And when you've got a group of athletes and you're coaching the learning of the game, and those golden moments happen at training. So love that assistant role, and also assisting people like Knowles and like Te Aroha, who I was under before. You have a real appreciation for the pressure that they're under. And so you're not only supporting them as a person and as a leader, and you are covering and being really thorough with everything in and around them, you're also, you know, looking after the girls. You're just kind of sweeping everything that they're doing as assistant. And as head coach, you are out the front, you're in charge, you're fully accountable. So quite different contexts across both roles, I think. Yeah. So speaking of Noeline, why is our Dame Noeline so epic? A question from Todd.
Dame Noeline is indeed epic. Look, she's such a journey woman, isn't she? It's been both fascinating and inspiring for me to watch her journey. And back in those early days, at the start of the ANZ Championship and at the Trans-Tasman comp, I think Knowles and I went head-to-head in the finals, 4 times out of the first 6 years. So we coached against each other, and her coaching has evolved over the years, and her sort of public persona has always been evolving, but she's always been really true to herself. And I was thinking of some words to describe Knowles, because she is such a wonderful, wonderful coach and person, and humility comes to mind. She's such a humble person. She's so respectful. She's really curious, visionary. You can see that in her latest work with the Silver Ferns and all throughout her career. She has such great vision. She's spiritual, incredibly smart, strong, a really competitive fighter, and true to herself. So I think those are the things for me that sums up Knowles. And look, I actually don't think she knows how great a coach she is. She's just so humble and worrying about everyone else's perspective. She actually, I hope one day will sit back and go, damn, I was awesome.
Yeah, I hope she does too, because she the thing I love about working with you, I completely agree with everything you said, Jane. Gosh, that's an awesome tribute to our Dame Noeline. One thing that I think, when Todd asked this question, I was thinking, what actually is it when you go into her environment? All she wants is for you to be your authentic self. She just wants you to be yourself, to be free of concern, free of worry. And I think she's really wants to bring that out in players and staff around her. You know, she was always saying, you know, you be you, say what you want, put it out there, express yourself. So I think there's a real freedom in how she coaches and what she brings, and I think that comes from her strong, you know, Ngāpuhi identity and her confidence in coaching. And you know, she's been sharpening her craft for so long, and as you've touched on, she's done the hard yards of, you know, competing for many years as a coach and growing her understanding of the game to that real deep level. But I guess another thing that really resonates with Knowles is how she simplifies things as well. The simplicity in how she coaches. You know, she's always saying simple things that make you question a lot, like the simple question of why are you here is always something that rings in my ear when I'm working with Knowles. You know, when players are tired or things are getting pushed, or you know, we're trying to get some learning across, it's always about, well, why are you here? So that's how cool she is. So cool to work for.
And
so next question, Dane. Sorry?
I was going to say a little extra piece that made me think while you were talking is when I worked with the Ferns on the Cons Cup last year, I flew into Christchurch on the morning of the first test, and hadn't met all of the players in the team. And the trust that Knowles had in me for us working together for the very first time, yep, you're going in and we're playing against Australia. And, the fact that she actually let me coach, I was expecting to sit in the stands and have just see things for the first time. But on that factory floor, straight up, and, the trust she has in you and the belief she has in you was just something I'll never forget. I mean, what an honour and a privilege to be trusted with those wonderful athletes in a test against Australia, having met, half the team on the morning. So, the way she makes people feel is incredible.
Yeah, I completely agree. I remember her saying when we were at World Cup is that, when we were going out to play England and the whole crowd, it was 11,000 English supporters supporting England. And I remember her saying, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And how exciting is it to walk into the stadium? So she's also there's so much high level of trust and high level of excitement and joy for the role of a coach and what you're doing when you're competing for New Zealand. It's quite special, isn't it? So what strengths the question he asked is, what strengths do we see in each other? Oh. So when I worked with you, Jane, it was I guess the main thing that really I was blown away by was the way, the tactical approach of the game, and especially the floor patterns that you introduced to the team, and the discipline of coaching that through, because you came in and out of our environment with Mystics that year, and you just had a real short period of time to impact, make a point and influence. And I guess your ability to say, right, well, this is the coaching point I want to make, and hit the floor, and it was taken on board without any hassle whatsoever. Also the way you saw the game, the way you saw the Australian structures, and how we taught or coached that in New Zealand. So, and the creativity, and of course your winning record. You always won in the Thunderbirds. With your run of the Thunderbirds, you never had the stacked team full of Australian diamonds, and you had to work the girls to new levels of belief to be champions, and you did that. What was it, 2-3 years in a row? Right, now these are your 5 questions, Jane, from Collingwood. They were really tricky questions, so I'll ask you this one first. The best player you've coached?
I always divide this into 3 sections, Deb, because it's hard to split a goaler from a midi from a defender. So I'll go goaler, Carla Borrego; mid-court, Natalie Bomberto; defender, Monia Girard. You?
Oh, well, I did just pick one because I'm really lucky to have had so many great players to play coach. But I guess the one that stands out was my first captain when I came in as head coach, and it was because she was in the twilight years of her playing career, even though she made a comeback recently. But for somebody, Tima Pata Bailey was my captain and was an outstanding athlete, leader. Just her skill set, her competitiveness, and also her empathy with the team she was a complete package in every part of the game. But yeah, she was a great player. Right. Most memorable coaching moment, Jane?
Well, hard to go past the 2013 ANZ champs, the mighty T-Birds. We only dropped 1 game for the year, and we went an entire year without losing. So they were great times where we finally managed, after several years of, getting the culture right and making those adjustments and making some hard decisions and refining things, where it just seemed to be one of those years where the recipe was right, and enjoyed every minute of it. And, it was such a close game against the Firebirds, and they started bombing along to Remelda in the end. And in the end, we hung on, and it was just such a wonderful reward for everybody who. I think we were just on a high for about 6 months after that. So it was just my friends working along so well.
You deserve to be on a high for that. Cool.
What about you, Deb?
Definitely Netball World Cup final last year, going into the last minute because we were up by quite a bit, and Australia, the Aussie battlers, we always know you're going to come back and always know that there's going to be a fight right to the end, and that last minute seemed to go on forever, but it was just the girls being able to keep their position and get position back during those moments was everything that we had been working on, so hugely satisfying. Yeah, that was great. Okay, the trait that you wish you had more of, Jane.
Oh, that's easy.
Coaching
Patience. Patience.
Yeah, I actually, that's written down on my notes as well, that patience isn't just a Guns N' Roses song. I'm always going in the fast lane. It's like, come on, let's go. No mucking around. Let's get on with the job and get it done. So that's why lockdown's actually been quite good. It's been learning about the value, sit down and see stuff. Faye, what's your favourite Dame Noeline Taurua idiosyncrasy?
Oh, that's an easy one. My favourite one of all time is when Knowles goes into her sound effects and she says, okay, when we get the ball down here, it's going to go, and I'm like, okay. And then she goes, and then they're thinking, oh, you know it, right? Those sound effects that she does. And look, she knows what she means. We all know what she means, but it's just Knowles' particular language and that idiosyncratic, if that's a word, way she does it. It cracks me up, but it's so effective. And I think only she could get away with it. That's my favourite.
I agree. One of the things I love when you're sitting down just before the game and she'll sit down and she's always so composed and quiet, but you can hear her going, like looking around going, now what's happened? It's kind of like we've done all this preparation, now what have we got? So I really like those moments. Yeah. Okay, the last question, Jane, is what are the 3 secrets to elite level coaching longevity? Geez, that's a hard question. Longevity in elite level coaching.
Yeah, and that could be a rare thing, right? It is hard to get longevity, but I don't think you could have that without incredible resilience, without really backing yourself, even when it seems like everyone else isn't. You've got to have something inside you that is right, and you pick your battles, yes, but if you don't back yourself, then you can go under pretty quickly in this business. And I think courage. I think those big calls on match day, they're the ones that are going to win you the championship at times, or win you the game that's a clutch game. So I think those things would probably be the underpinning of the other things. So what are yours?
Yeah, I completely agree with courage, because when you're coaching, you've got to have courage anyway, because you're in the cauldron. You're making the calls. You are influencing athletes. You're managing the team. You're managing an environment. So you've really got to have I guess it's the backbone and the confidence to be able to go really understand your role as a coach. I think you've got to have a couple of champions, mentors that can support you as well. So people that have been there, done that know how brutal the industry is, because it is brutal, and you've got to enjoy that brutality. It's like you're in the business. It's exciting, it's competitive, it's demanding. So you've got to love those 3 things. I think you've got to love the game. I think you've got to be able to coach in any situation, in any scenario, under any pressure. So ultimately what gets you through really is the love of the game. And people say, well, how's netball going to get through? And it's like, well, people love watching the game. The game is actually a really exciting invasion sport that people love to watch. So passion for the game gets you through the hard times. There's always a lot of coaches get knocked back with bureaucracy and levels of systems and things like that, but I think you've just got to understand that's the industry you're in, and at the end of the day you've got to give a lot of time and oxygen to people with skin in the game, and that's your players and your team around you. And it's such an exciting opportunity to coach any team. So I think there's more joy, there's so much joy and satisfaction in it than anything else, really. So there are your questions, Jane. It's quite extensive.
Yeah, team effort. Good to chat.
Yeah. What else is happening? What else? So there's no other questions, so we can just have a cup of tea.
A cup of tea or a glass of wine, but it's a little bit later over there. It's anything after lunchtime works in COVID lockdown, I think. Yeah, look, I think we're just looking forward to the next steps, and it's been really good that the government or the Australian Institute of Sport has put out some return to play, return to train kind of guidelines, and so it's going to be really good to make those come to life and actually get the band back together with our netballers at Collingwood, and just see them train again, and hopefully it'll be 4 weeks in that sort of in-house training environment, and then game time, show time. So yeah, we're looking forward to that.